Edmonton, Alberta, day 2 of the World Juniors, but day 1 for Canada. They will be in red and white tonight. Bowen Byram will wear the C. He will alternate with Dylan Cousins throughout the tournament. Are you ready? Max and the Arkells, get us started. Edmonton, Alberta will host the World Juniors this year and again next year because of this strange year. Game number 1 for Canada today against Germany to open up at the 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship. As we say hello again, Canada, hope your Christmas was great. Welcome to a Boxing Day edition of the World Juniors. James Duthie alongside Bob McKenzie, and Canada finally gets to play its opener at the World Juniors. And finally is the right word. The anticipation for the kids to play this game at the World Juniors every year is huge. So you imagine being this team, months without hockey for many of them. They had to stay in their hotel rooms, 14 days in Red Deer in quarantine, another 4 days here, and finally they get to play a game that means something and wear the Team Canada colors in a tournament most of them have dreamt about playing in their entire lives. To get you ready for it, Gordon Miller and Ray Ferraro.
The referees of the game are...
Canada has 6 players back from last year, including a defense pairing of Bowen Byram and Jamie Drysdale that has some serious pedigree, Ray.
Yeah, what a great luxury for Andre Tourigny and the Canadian team to have both Byram and Drysdale back in the lineup. 2 incredibly mobile defensemen. Byram's game has expanded. More bold, more aggressive, up the ice, leading the rush at times. A dynamic defenseman, another Colorado Avalanche draft pick. Jamie Drysdale is this subtle player, man. I love the way that he moves on the ice. He's got feet like Erik Karlsson, yet he plays a game that is much more calm, less risky than Karlsson would. Together, Bowen Byram and Jamie Drysdale give Canada a standout defensive pair.
Canada's 14-0 all-time against Germany, beat them 4-1 in last year's tournament.
All right, thank you very much, gentlemen, with Bob McKenzie and Craig Button alongside. Let's quickly show you Canada's lineup for today. The lines have been moving the last few days after Kirby Dach, the captain, was injured and knocked out of the tournament. And Bob Pedigree, 19 first-round picks. What specifically does Andre Tourigny want to see from this team today?
Well, this is a stacked lineup. You said it, 19 first-round picks, more than 4 lines deep, 7, 8 defensemen available. But the Germans are understaffed. They only have 5 defensemen, 9 forwards. They played a game yesterday, so it's the second half of a back-to-back. So focus on your strengths, which is play a strong cycle game, play the possession game down low, and wear the Germans down as they try to chase the puck and chase the game.
Well, for Andre Tourigny in the practice on Christmas Day, he had to stop it a couple times because he said, we need our details to be in place. And he said, you guys know what you got to do. He will be a bear, pun intended, on the details with this group as they really build for New Year's Eve match versus Finland. Yes, the other teams will pose somewhat of a challenge, but he wants to see the details develop shift after shift, period after period, game after game.
The Bear is Tourigny's nickname. He hopes to be the Golden Bear in a couple of weeks here coaching Team Canada. Let's get to your starting goalies. All right, Team Canada getting set to take the ice. The opening ceremonies from the tournament, always done in Canada's first game when it's in Canada, is next from Edmonton.
The 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship from Edmonton, Alberta is brought to you in part by Esso. The Esso brand has fueled Canada's love of hockey for over 80 years. By Nike, official gear of Canada's national hockey teams. By TELUS, helping build stronger communities on and off the ice. When we give back together, we're all connected for good. And by Tim Hortons, the official coffee of Team Canada.
Good afternoon and welcome to the opening ceremonies of the 2021 IIHF World Junior Championship. Please direct your attention to the video board for messages from the IIHF and Hockey Canada.
Abaoste, Danse, Anin, Oki, Etlenete.
Welcome to Treaty 6 territory and homeland to the Métis Nation.
Treaty 6 territory is home to many Indigenous peoples, the Nehewak, Nitissapi, Métis Michif, Nakota Sioux, Dene, Inuit,
and many others whose footsteps that walk these lands.
So to wow,
Tanshe,
Abaoste.
Welcome to Indigenous lands.
Welcome, hockey fans in Canada and around the world. I wish happy holidays to you and your loved ones. This has been a difficult year, but we are glad you can join us from your homes as we kick off 10 days of World Junior Hockey. Each country taking part in the 2021 World Juniors is grateful to the cities of Edmonton and Red Deer for giving these young players the chance to compete in the greatest junior ice hockey tournament in the world. On behalf of the president of the IIHF, Mr. René Fassel, we wish to thank Hockey Canada, the organizing committee, volunteers, sponsors, TSN, and the cities of Edmonton and Red Deer, as well as the Alberta provincial government and the government of Canada for their hard work in support of this IIHF event. Take care, stay safe and healthy, and enjoy the games. Merry Christmas, Bon Noël, Feliz Navidad, Bon Nadal.
Où que vous soyez sur cette planète, bonjour à vous tous, amateurs et passionnés de hockey. En cette année difficile, plus que jamais, je vous invite à profiter sans modération de l'une des meilleures compétitions internationales de hockey sur glace, le championnat mondial junior. Au nom de l'IHF, je voudrais sincèrement remercier le gouvernement du Canada, le gouvernement de l'Alberta, les villes d'Edmonton et de Red Deer, ainsi que Hockey Canada pour leur travail et leur dévouement extraordinaire dans l'organisation de ce tournoi. Et d'avoir surtout permis, même dans un contexte sanitaire difficile, aux équipes de pouvoir bénéficier d'un environnement de compétition très sécuritaire. Bonne chance à toutes les équipes et joyeuses fêtes à tous. Tous nos vœux de bonheur et surtout de santé. Et maintenant, place au hockey.
Thank you to the International Ice Hockey Federation for the opportunity to host this year's World Junior Championships in this very unique environment. Thank you to the Government of Canada, the Province of Alberta, the cities of Edmonton and Red Deer for your guidance, support, and approvals that have allowed this event to proceed. Thank you to each of the participating teams. Your commitment and compliance to the health and safety protocols has been excellent. A special note of thanks to the IIHF, Hockey Canada, the local organizing committee event team. Your work to date has been extraordinary. Thank you again to the International Ice Hockey Federation for this very unique opportunity. Let's all commit to make this a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
And now, please welcome Canadian country music superstar, Brett Kissel, for the singing of O Canada.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all
2021 World Junior Hockey Championship from Edmonton, Alberta is brought to you in part by Chevrolet. Find new reasons to cheer. Find new roads.
Welcome to day 2 of the World Junior Hockey Championship and the debut for the defending champions and host team as Canada will take on Germany. All the officials in the tournament are Canadian. The referees are Adam Blosky from Saskatoon, Mark Pierce from North Vancouver. The linesmen are Kelsey Mahoney from Narrow, Manitoba, and Guillaume Brunel from Saint-Lambert, Quebec. Devin Levi, who turns 19 tomorrow, makes his IHF tournament debut for Canada in goal. Plays for Northeastern University, a native of Gallard des Amaux in Quebec. And for Germany, Arno Tiefensee, the 18-year-old, is the only German with international experience, allowed 5 goals on 50 shots in their opening loss to the Finns. Andre Tourigny is the 46-year-old head coach of Team Canada, the head coach of the Ottawa 67s in the OHL. And Tobias Abstreiter is 50. He's the head coach of the German team. Had a machete taken to his lineup before the tournament began. They've got 14 skaters dressed today, but the hope for him is they'll get healthy in time for their last preliminary game against Switzerland on Wednesday. There could be a spot in the quarterfinals on the line in that one.
He said, don't look at the scoreboard for the first couple of games. Just play, and then we'll get sorted. Tough night for Germany, undermanned against a Canadian team, just raring to go.
And Mark Pierce to drop the puck for Canada's opener.
Jay Fells, let's have some fun here.
And here we go. Game 2 of the day. Alex Newhook with it with Dylan Cousins. Some reconstituted lines for Canada. Of course, Kirby Dach injured in the pre-tournament game. And will be lost to Canada for the rest of the tournament. Bowen Byram back at the point. Feeds it back across. Newhook, a shot, rebound. In comes Cousins, and he hit the goal post. Tim Stutzler, the German captain, plays it rink wide for J.J. Peterka. Tries to center it. Peterka has that knocked down by Cousins. Rebound in front. The net is off as Peterka flipped that wide.
A wild start to the first shift of the game for Canada and Dylan Cousins. This is going to start with an unbelievable look and pass from Bowen Byram. From here, he goes directly across the ice to Newhook. The save by Tiefensee, and Dylan Cousins has lots of room. He goes up over top of Tiefensee, off the crossbar, and Cousins playing right wing with the injury to Kirby Dach. He moved from center back to the right. The first shift of the game, and Canada has a golden scoring opportunity.
Centering pass, and Peyton Krebs was knocked out in front. Now brought ahead by Manuel Alberg. He moves in, it goes off the leg, back at the point. A hard shot taken there by Maximilian Blitzel. It's kicked away by Levi. Now loose behind the goal is Samuel Dubé, whose dad, Yannick Dubé, played for Canada in the '94 World Junior Championship. Cole Perfetti winds in. Drops it off to Connor McMichael. Perfetti slides back in, looks back at the point. That was knocked away. Now Pelche back on it. And the puck loose in the corner. Caden Gooley had jumped up from his defense spot. The puck skipped away from him. Justin Barron moves across the top, a long wrist shot that floats high and wide. Whitton Byfield drops it back. Jack Quinn sends it back in front. Byfield ripped that high and wide. Here's Barron back on it. Plays it down to Quinn. Jack Quinn, a scoring star for the Ottawa 67s. For Gooley, moves it and shoots and scores! Caden Gooley fires it home. A minute and 54 in, and Canada's got a 1-0 lead.
The play that is going to be a challenge for Germany is when a shift gets extended, as this one does. They just don't have the zip to stay with Canada's strength and mobility. Here's Gooley in on the short side. He beats Tiefensee. Gooley's first shift of the World Junior Championship. It goes off the pad of Tiefensee and in the net. And Canada's played pretty much most of the first 2 minutes in the offensive zone. And the Montreal Canadiens first rounder has Canada on the board.
Like his older brother, Brendan, who's with the Anaheim Ducks, Caden plays for Prince Albert in the Western Hockey League. He was the first overall pick in the 2017 Western Hockey League draft. He used to go to watch his older brother play in Prince Albert, and they joked with him, Sunday, you'll play for us as well. And sure enough, he is. Now moving right back in. Suzuki with a chance. That's tapped wide. A good dash there for Ryan Suzuki. Here's Byram back with it. Cross it goes to Drysdale. Jamie Drysdale feeds it across. Connor Zeri with it. Zeri with a sharp angle shot. That's knocked away by Tiefense. Germans, of course, have all kinds of COVID problems before the tournament began. A number of their players are still in quarantine. Now brought in by Peterka with Stutzla. Peterka to Stutzla, moves it. Oh, what a save by Levi! Devin Levi with a great pad stop on Tim Stutzla.
Stutzla turned around and said something to Levi as he went away. I thought it was a great move from Stutzla to hold it and go back. Unbelievable agility by Levi to stay with the play to make the stop.
You made the point, Ray. Germany played well in that loss yesterday to the Finns. And a long shot by Ilias, and that's gloved by Levi.
Well, it's one thing to get a 2-on-1. It's when your two best players get it as well. A turnover in the middle of the ice, and here's J.J. Peterka and Stutzla. Stutzla's going to go back across. Levi ends up spread straight across the net as far as he can go, and Stutzla goes back across and wants to slide it around the foot. He doesn't wait maybe a half a second longer, and he's got the open side, but Stutzla, who had a goal and an assist in the openers, turned away.
Stutzla hasn't played this year, suffered a broken hand while playing in the German, or while training for the German league. Of course, the third overall pick in the NHL draft to Ottawa. And the puck bounced into the Canadian bench. And looking on today across the country, we've got friends and family of Canadian players joining us via Zoom. Welcome to all of you, wherever you're looking at across the country. We're glad to have you. Yeah, wave and say hello. And we welcome all of you who are looking at today on Boxing Day, this tradition of the World Junior Hockey Championship in Canada. Of course, the tournament began a day earlier than usual because all the games will be played in this arena this year. 3 games a day later on here tonight. We'll have the United States and Austria. Here's Byfield out of the corner. Drops it back to Pelche. He got tied up. Quentin Byfield pokes it down to the goal mouth. That's broken up and moved out by Simon Gannett.
This was one of the lines that was reconfigured with the injury to Doc, and Byfield moves up in the batting order to the second or to the third center spot. Pelche moves sides. I've been really impressed with Pelche early in this whole tournament, and Jack Quinn moves back to the left side after a day in practice, Gord, where his head coach in Ottawa, Andre Tourigny, dropped him in the lines to the 13th forward. He wanted to give him a little zip. Didn't feel he played so great in the first game.
On the board, Schumacher chips it out for Germany. And trailing back is Byram to pick it up. Byram drops it back across, took a hard bump there. And Joel Tomasino plays it back across for Canada. Stutzla digging for it. As you mentioned, played 26 minutes in that game against the Finns.
It's just incredible for a forward to play that many minutes, and they're not passive minutes for Stutzla either. He's a pursuer. He carries the puck in the neutral zone. He hunts it in the offensive zone. Those are heavy minutes that he played yesterday.
Stutzla back for it. Feeds across to Peterka. J.J. Peterka slides that in. Lucas Reichel, a first-round pick of Chicago, is not here for Team Germany. So you think about Stutzla, Peterka, and Reichel, a trinity of great forwards up front. Moritz Seider on defense, stayed in Rogla in the Swedish league. Had he gone to the German camp, he would have missed 22 games for Rogla, which is a first-place team in the Swedish Hockey League. There's no relegation this year, so Germany's safe without him.
And they're also missing their starting goaltender, Thomas Ančička. So, I mean, these were heavy losses for Germany this year.
But you think about that group of young players, and Leon Draisaitl's only 25. It's not like he's an old goat. He just named Germany's Athlete of the Year. Tiefense trying to poke at that. Krebs batted it wide, and Tiefense plays it away. At the side of the goal, that's moved away by Alberg. And Dooley back with it. Playing ahead to McMichael. Connor McMichael slides it ahead to Krebs. In comes McMichael with Perfetti. McMichael works it, throws it back in front. Perfetti couldn't quite reach it. And Cole Perfetti plays it back to Justin Bear. And a shot tipped in front. McMichael ripped it wide. And now banged out and down the ice by Alberg. Aaron goes back, and icing is the call.
Well, a pretty good start for Canada. They gave up the one good chance to Stützle that Devin Levi made a terrific stop with, but they've had a crossbar from Cousins, the goal from Gouli, and Andre Tourigny has talked to his team over the last day and a bit of playing with urgency. He wants to make sure that they're up on their toes here, not looking at Germany like an undermanned team that you should be able to wear down. He wants them up and at it early, and I think they've had a pretty good start.
Byfield wins the draw. Pelche tapped it back, gets it back, and shoots. He ripped that high and wide.
That's a really good set play from Canada, and Pelche is on the receiving end of the pass from Byram for a shot on goal.
Novak couldn't clear it out. And now Byfield knocks down Munzenberger, and the first penalty of the game will go to Canada, as Germany will go to the power play as Byfield goes off. Caden Gouli, the native of Sherwood Park, Alberta, just outside Edmonton, has given Canada a 1-0 lead on Germany.
Canada, minor penalty cross-check.
Assist on Caden Gouli's goal, and now a penalty. Quinton Byfield gets called for cross-checking as he pushes Munzenberger into the boards. The German power play will get their first chance today. They had a power play goal yesterday against the Finn. Samuel Dubé scored with the man advantage.
Holloway gets a face-off warning. Wins the draw back to Barron. And Justin Barron feeds it down the ice. Tiefensee, the German goaltender, by the way, was the netminder of record for the Germans in the under-18 Division 1A in 2019. They won promotion to the top group, so Germany's in the top level in the World Championship, the World Junior, and the under-18. First time in a long time for them. In comes Stützle. Flip of the puck by Mercer. Dawson Mercer cut it across. Ilias picks it up and shoots, ripped it wide. Another chance at the side of the goal, and Alberg turned away. Good stop there by Levi. Paterka for Ilias. Tried to slide that back. Zeri breaks it up, and Connor Zeri feeds it down the ice. Tiefensee lost his balance there for a moment. Picked out of the side of the goal, and Mercer scores! Tiefensee stumbles. Zeri takes advantage. It's a short-handed goal for Dawson Mercer.
Really good stop by Levi as he comes across the stop on Alberg. And then a simple chip down the ice. Everybody's changing for Germany. And then Tiefensee blows a shoe behind the net. And Dawson Mercer's going to beat him to the front. And it's 2-0 Canada. One stumble, and the puck is up for grabs. The goalie goes left, Mercer goes right, and it's in the net.
Dawson Mercer, a native of Bay Roberts, Newfoundland. It was 30 years ago in the 1991 World Junior Championship that John Slaney from St. John's scored the goal against the Soviet Union that won the gold medal for Canada. And the play called at the Canadian line.
Mercer did not have a point last year. Played 7 minutes a game, but is able to hook this one around the post. And everybody at home gets to cheer.
It's a different year in so many ways, and we want to take a moment to tip our hats to the frontline workers, the first responders who have been really the story of 2020. Team Canada, all of us at TSN thinking of you and applauding your efforts this year. And that includes Andre Tournier's wife, Melanie, who's a nurse in Gatineau, Quebec, and has been on the front line since the pandemic began. But when Byram chops at it, and that time, Throbot couldn't get a shot away, and Canada clears it down. 10 seconds to go in the German power play. Canada a 2-0 lead. Canada back in action tomorrow against Slovakia. Now a steal by Holloway. Holloway moves in. Try to center for Cousins. Holloway got spun around. Dylan Cousins comes in to help out. And Henriquez Morales plays it up.
Oh, boy.
And behind the play, a big collision. Luka Schumacher is down.
You see what they end up calling this penalty is Braden Schneider stood up at the blue line. The two officials having a quick word here as Schumacher is being helped back to the German bench. Here's the play at the blue line. Oh boy.
So the contact is to the head.
That's likely going to be a 5 and a game misconduct for Schneider.
So a 5-minute power play coming for Germany. And Braden Schneider from Prince Albert is shown off.
Phil Tomasino will come and serve the penalty.
He goes for the face-off against Holloway. And Holloway wins it cleanly. Back to Barron, who fires it down. Simon Gnip goes back for it. Leaves it there for Stutzla. You will see most, if not all, of the 5 minutes for Germany.
His minutes aren't going down.
Here he comes across the line. Stutzla tied up by Barron. And behind the goal, picked up and fired down the ice by Gouli. Gnip goes back for it. 10:45 to go in the opening period. Dropped back by Gnip and almost picked off by Mercer.
Team Canada penalty to number 2, Braden Schneider. 5 minutes of checking to the head and a game misconduct.
Alberg drops it back. Elias feeds the point. Gnip a long shot, tipped in front. That went just wide as Alberg got a stick on that. Now behind the goal, Byram picks it up. Owen Byram wearing the C, as we mentioned, one of the alternate captains for Canada. But under IHF rules, someone has to have the C on. So the alternates will rotate it throughout the tournament. But officially, Kirby Dach will be listed as Canada's captain for the records of the tournament. Well, a hit by Munzenberger. Tied up there by Harley. Levi knocked it down. Munzenberger. Robot leaves it back to Munzenberger. Tied up by Cousins.
Really good pressure by Canada. A solid push by Gouli. And Thomas Harley on the blue line and a clear down the ice again.
Now Suzuki giving Zimmerman trouble as the puck floats free in the corner. Chopped out by Krebs, now loose behind the goal. Laid back at the point by Volek to Munzenberger. Walking in and shooting is Mario Zimmerman. And Levi makes the stop. Dawson Mercer has Canada's second goal. It's a 2-0 lead on Germany at the 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship.
Everybody likes their own tape job on their sticks. It's all unique and it's all personal. I've never seen one like this. So it's Tim Stutzla. He has no tape on the bottom of his stick, so it slides really quickly, really easily. He's got the one strip going east and west. That's where the puck is. And then he's got that thing at the toe. I'm not real sure what it all adds up to, but the way he handles it, it works real well.
Walking in and firing. Stutzla put that just wide. Gnip back to Stutzla. Being harassed there by Pelletier. Gnip a long shot. That floats high and wide. Peterka with it. J.J. Peterka. Lost the puck to Holloway. Sent it down. And for a generation of our vintage, it was the one strip vertical for Bobby Orr.
Well, because he thought you needed to have a strip. He thought that was the rule. So he just put one strip in the middle. He didn't really want any tape on there. I tried it. No tape because I want it to be like Bobby Orr. That thing is spinning around there like a top on your stick. I don't know how he did it. Obviously another level of player.
Elias back for it. 2 minutes to go in the 5-minute major to Team Canada. Germany will play the Slovaks on Monday.
And Gord, with all the testing issues that the Germans had, the IIHF gave Germany the opportunity to flip-flop games. They could move one game back, but they wanted to keep the schedule the way it was. Finland and Canada out of the hopper because they wanted the day off before Slovakia.
Right.
Because of the importance of that game and the reality of the Finns and Canada in the first two.
So the last two against Slovakia and Switzerland, so winning one of those two gives you a chance at the quarters. Now brought in by Samuel Dubé. Dubé rings it around and back at the point. Zimmerman can't hold it. And it's back down to the German end. 1 minute to go in the 5-minute power play for Germany.
It's been a terrific 4 minutes of penalty killing for Canada.
Moved in by Peterka. J.J. Peterka, second-round pick of Buffalo, a terrific player as well. Back at the point is Ganit. Drops it back to Peterka. Lays it down low to Alberg. Looks back for Stutzla. He was tied up. Elias feeds across. Peterka in, shoot, scores! J.J. Peterka snaps in a power play goal, and Germany trails 2-1.
Gord, you're just talking about J.J. Peterka, the Buffalo Sabres second-round draft pick in 2020. The Sabres are watching Dylan Cousins, of course, their first-rounder of 2019, and now they get to see their second-rounder, J.J. Peterka, get on the board here. Good puck battle on the boards. It's won by Germany. Peterka's shot is going to deflect off of Bowen Byram's stick and beat Devin Levi up over the glove and shoulder, and it's 2-1. Germany's on the board on the power play marker. They're second in 2 games, and J.J. Peterka has it.
It's off the stick of Byram, too, by the looks of it. So Peterka bangs it in, and Peterka playing in Austria for EC Salzburg, having a huge goal-scoring year in that men's league. 7 goals in 12 games for them.
He had 7 goals last year playing for Munich and in the DEL. So last year, those 3 young German forwards you're talking about, Lucas Reichel played in Berlin, Peterka played in Munich, and Stutzla played in Mannheim. And they all did pretty well. It's really, really quite something to see how well these kids play.
It was a long slog for Germany after getting relegated in 2015. Took 5 years to get back to the top group. But good results at the Olympics in 2018. Probably should have won the gold medal there. A good world championship the following spring. And now a ton of young players coming for a country that's got lots of competition for young athletes. Holloway moves in. Dylan Holloway winds his way in. Holloway drops it back to Drysdale. Steps into that. That was blocked in front. Alberg up ahead for Krobot. Krobot drops it back. Picked off by Tomasino, who served that 5-minute major for Canada. Now Philip Tomasino walks it in. Shoots, scores! Tomasino snaps it in. And Canada's back up by 2.
Tomasino, who had 100 points in 62 games for Oshawa last year, picks up the puck at his own blue line and has all kinds of room to skate through the neutral zone. He takes the turnover and really isn't pressured. He's looking to move it. Nowhere to move it, so he shoots it from a sharp angle, and Tiffin C slides off the post, and this goes underneath his left pad, and Phil Tomasino has his first of the tournament.
A first-round pick of Nashville in 2019. Ray, you like round numbers. And you were 100 points, 40 goals, 60 assists, 100 points.
Doesn't it look good? It just looks good. Tomasino can shoot the puck. The Nashville pick lived with Ryan Ellis in development camp in the summer. Ellis, who had played 3 years, or 3 World Junior Championships for Canada.
And is the all-time leader in assists by defensemen in the World Junior Championship. Cousins fires that down to the German zone. Ink wide pass to Stutzla. Great backhand pass as it goes to Peterka, but the play was offside at the Canadian line. 5:03 to go here in the first period. Peterka gets the Germans back within one, but Phil Tomasino restores Canada's 2-goal lead.
Closed captioning of the 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship is brought to you in part by IBM's Public Cloud, now in Canada.
Back here in Edmonton, we mentioned that Germany was relegated in 2015. That was a bitter pill, and their anger was directed at the NHL team that plays here. The Oilers didn't make Leon Draisaitl available in the tournament. He was a healthy scratch for the Oilers while the World Junior was going on. And the day after Germany was relegated, Draisaitl was sent back to the Western Hockey League. Germany got relegated, as we mentioned. It took them 5 years to get back to the top level. Their hopes, though, are to build better grassroots programs, and they feel they can be a hockey powerhouse in Europe.
And the real challenge for them is the really good athletes are under, you know, I'll say a pressure, but their game is football, soccer. It's a pretty tough compete.
And handball's huge in Europe as well. Yep. You and I were in Berlin last spring, and it's the same thing. I mean, handball's an enormous sport in Europe. McMichael works in, but the late Badger Bob Johnson used to say about USA Hockey, the only 10% of the good athletes to play for us, and we should be okay. Germany might be the same way. Volek winds in. His centering pass broken up, and look out, Korzak sent Volek hard into the Canadian bench. So Germany, a population of 80 million, 218 indoor rinks. Hockey is enormously popular. And Ray, one of the great things we did last year is you and I drove up to watch your son play in Berlin. The passion of German fans is incredible.
That, I mean, of course, I'm biased because I was watching my son play, but that was an amazing night to watch the way the fans interact, the way that they're into the game, the way they chant. It's basically a soccer game in a 17,000 seat arena. It was awesome.
It's basically a beer garden for 17,000.
Yeah, that's another thing too.
Harley, a lead pass for Tomasino, and Landon scored that night, which you mentioned.
Yeah, that was kind of nice too.
Munzenberger plays it back to center ice. And Caden Korzak plays it back to Zary. Connor Zary. Sharp angle shot goes high and wide. Stutzla back with it. And Stutzla to Schumacher, who plays it back to center ice.
Lord, Canada has 3 goals on 5 shots in this period. Of course, they were killing a penalty for 5 minutes of it.
By icing waved off as Peterka picks it up. J.J. Peterka drops it back at the point. Long shot taken there by Glutzel. Save is made, the rebound put wide by Stutzla. It's hard to imagine, but in just about 3 weeks' time, Tim Stutzla could be wearing a National Hockey League uniform for Ottawa.
He'll be wearing it for a long time, too. What a terrific player he is. It'll be interesting to see. Stutzla is a natural centerman, whether they'll employ him at center or on the wing to start. But that's a nice problem to have.
Byfield to Byram. Byram has it poked away by Peterka. J.J. Peterka working it on Byram. And Byram reaches back and knocks that puck away without taking a penalty.
Great recovery from Byram.
Here he comes the other way. Bowen Byram walks in. Shoots that wide. He was drafted for the pick that Colorado got from Ottawa in the Matt Duchene trade. Now Quinn with it. Jack Quinn a long shot. That floats wide. And Tiefensee hangs on to that.
What a young defense Colorado is putting together. Bowen Byram will be a major chunk of it. Cale Makar, we saw last year, loses the puck, and then he angles off Peterka. He takes a really good angle to the puck, goes on the inside of Peterka's stick out, and just as Peterka's trying to lean in to create some space, Byram pokes it away.
Byram had a great World Junior last year, sort of. He played really well, but got really violently sick in the semifinal game. Couldn't play.
That opened the door for Jamie Drysdale, who stepped in and did an amazing job. And Dale Hunter talked about afterward that no matter what they handed to Drysdale, he just was able to take it and play. And then he went into the gold medal game. And as we get a look at Jamie, that He started as the 7th defenseman and worked his way into a regular shift by the time the gold medal was being handed out.
By the way, keep a note of this, but should a shootout become necessary for Canada? Drysdale's been really good at them in practice. He hates doing it.
How can you hate a shootout? Oh, look at you. Oh, I love them. Love them.
But Erie, his junior team, lost 9 in a row. Was having an awful time scoring, and they asked him to go out and shoot. Drysdale kept saying, pick somebody else. He said, well, you're the best player. You go. He's only had 1 attempt in his junior career. At the line, held by Byram. A rolling puck. Byram feeds it back down. Perfetti for McMichael. Back at the point. There's Drysdale, long shot, and Tiefensee makes the stop.
I think that line is going to be really effective in that type of spot. The McMichael Krebs ability to cycle the puck. Perfetti will be able to dish it from wherever he gets it. Krebs is an interesting player. I liked him a lot the other night. He, tore his Achilles tendon in June of 2019 while he was working out. It was a long road back for him, but he's an energetic player. He really does a lot of things that will help your team.
Right before the draft, a couple of weeks before the draft. That's the only line, by the way, where they stayed together, right, since the pre-tournament. Peterka centers it. Ilya spins it back in front. Newhook knocked that away from Stutzlo. And Byram fires it down off the inboards. It goes right to Holloway, walks it and shoots short side, just missed. Time winding down here in the period. Holloway, who's an Edmonton Oilers draft pick, taken 14th overall in 2020. Newhook plays it across. Korzak feeds it down. The bouncing puck is batted away. And Elias plays that away to the blue line. Peterka's got it back. Goes rink wide for Stutzlo. Thomas Harley stays with him and knocks that away. And a penalty coming out of Germany.
That's too many men.
Yeah, 20 seconds to go in the period. And they only got 14 skaters to choose from, but they had 6 on the ice.
Germany penalty, too many men.
What's funny about that, Gord, is sometimes you get, even when you're down like this, you just get tired. And you can see them slowly getting back into position. Guys slow to the bench, just kind of wandering their way over, and they don't need this.
Tobias Abstrider played in the 98 99 World Junior Championship for Germany. Also played in the Olympics in 2002 and the 04 World Cup of Hockey. Terrific German international. So in the draw there, and the puck just bumped by McMichael. Byram up for Krebs. 10 seconds to go in the period. Connor McMichael tried to move around Albert. Now Cousins on it. Dylan Cousins swats it back. McMichael, a hard shot. Rebound, score. As the horn sounds, Peyton Krebs puts it home. And Canada's got a 4-1 lead, assuming the goal stands.
We'll take a peek here as McMichael's going to deliver this puck in a hurry. Strong play from Dylan Cousins. Rebound is there. Krebs pokes it through. I think it's going to count. We'll take a look at it from the overhead. Remember, it's got to be all the way across the line before the double zeros hit.
Oh, no goal. Look at that. A 1/10 of a second difference.
The play is under review for the time on the clock.
So what do you think, folks, back home? They're probably all saying goal, I would guess.
Of course they are. Krebs was on the spot for the rebound, and from that look, it appears as though this will not count.
Peyton Krebs, a native of Okotoks, Alberta, just south of Calgary.
There's the pretty definitive view right there.
So the referees, Adam Blosky and Mark Pierce, are reviewing it. And the 2018, the Hlinka Gretzky Under-18 tournament was played here in Edmonton. Dylan Cousins scored the goal that sent Canada the gold medal game against the United States. It was actually scored after time had expired, but there was no video review in that tournament. So Cousins got a gift.
Cousins made a heck of a play there to keep that puck alive. He was falling to his knees, and he was able to poke it to McMichael for the one-timer. And there was Krebs who pushed it through the goaltender. And we're going to find out whether it's going to count or not. Our view would say it does not.
After video review, the call on the ice stands. We have good goal.
Oh. So, there you go. Well, the Germans are arguing because the feed we're getting might be different, but it is a goal for Krebs.
The Germans are not very happy with this, and so the game clock, they just put .2 back on the clock. So the explanation that Germany is getting clearly must be that their look is different than what was shown on the clock. I think Germany will probably challenge this now. Oh, they're going to count it. I'd like to come up with a great explanation why that counts, but I can't.
We're trying to get one in the intermission, but yes. There have been examples in the NHL of the clock that we're seeing on television being
a little bit out
than the one you see on video review, but we'll check it out. Krebs has the goal. Canada has a 4-1 lead on Germany. It's day 2 of the 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship. Our first intermission is coming up.
Three more World Junior games tomorrow and 3 NBA games. Mavs, Clippers, Bucks, Knicks, Timberwolves, Lakers, as the NBA on TSN continues. All-day Sunday action getting underway at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific, and it rolls all day long. James Duthie, Bob McKenzie, and Craig Buckton back with intermission number 1. We are trying to find out an explanation as to why that goal counted. You saw the replay as we did. The in-house clock seemed to be expired before the puck crossed the line. We'll get that for you as soon as we can. We knew coming into this one, Germany, if they were going to have any chance at all, it would have to be one of those days where the goaltender absolutely stood on his head. And Bob, the opposite actually happened.
Yeah, that certainly wasn't the case. And you're right, James. They had 9 players test positive and not in the lineup, so they're way short-handed. And even before that, as Gordon Ray mentioned, Lucas Reichel, Chicago first-rounder, he couldn't be here. Another player, Nino Kinder, they tested positive in Germany. So they're really in trouble in a lot of ways. And then Arno Tiefensee, their #1 goaltender, really has a tough outing. 3 goals on 5 shots. Now 4 on 10 if that last goal counts, and as of now it does. And boy, that's just too much to overcome if you're the Germans. Now, there was another player that also tested positive before the German camp, and that was Tobias Anchichka, who would have been their #1 goaltender. He was on last year's World National Junior team for Germany, so big uphill climb if you're going to get goaltending like that with everything else that's going on.
Well, goaltending for Canada isn't an issue. Devin Levi gets tested really early here on a Bowen Byram giveaway, and you don't want to be giving it away to the likes of J.J. Peterka or Tim Stützle, and that's exactly what ends up happening here. And then they go to work, and he makes a great save. He goes way hard right and comes back left and gets his pad on that save. And, I mean, it's just a brilliant save on a great player and right off the bat. And then when the goal goes in by Peterka, it's just a bad break. It goes off of Bowen Byram's stick and up and over the shoulder of Levi, so he has no chance on that goal. Devin Levi, interesting story, maybe an unknown. He authored one of the great upsets in midget AAA history in Quebec a couple of years ago. CJHL Player of the Year last year, lights out brilliant at the World Junior A Challenge last year, en route to a overtime loss to Russia. He's not immune to any type of pressure, but he's always able to rise to it and meet the challenge wherever it is.
And one of the best stories on this team, not invited to the summer selection camp, the only guy on this roster who was not and has been terrific so far. Okay, Germany down several men, Canada down a man, Braden Schneider getting that major. And Bob, we know how the IIHF takes headshots extremely seriously. Could there be supplemental discipline on top of this?
Well, first and foremost, it's an open and shut case as far as the 5-minute major and the game misconduct. Any contact to the head is bad contact in the eyes of the IIHF, especially here at the World Junior Championship. So the New York Ranger first rounder who plays for the Brandon Wheat King steps up on his man, tries to lower the boom with the shoulder, but lowers the shoulder right into the head of the German player. That's 5 in a game. And listen, I can never predict with certainty what the IIHF will do with suspensions, but I would not be the least bit surprised if Braden Schneider gets a 1-game suspension as a result of that hit. Caden Korzak will get more minutes now. He was the 7th guy, moves up, plays a similar type of hard defensive game for Team Canada, so that's kind of where they're at with their defense.
Craig, besides taking a major, giving up a goal in that 5-minute power play, although PK was good through most of it, any concerns for Team Canada through 20?
Well, I don't think there's concerns, but, you know, Bowen Byram's going to have the puck on his stick a whole lot over the course of a game. And there was a couple of giveaways that he had there. And it's one thing to make those giveaways, but when you're giving them up to the likes of J.J. Peterka and Tim Stützle, those are the last 2 guys. And he makes a really good defensive play after this giveaway on Peterka, getting back and getting his stick underneath it. And then the puck that went in for Germany went off his stick. So, you know, Bowen Byram, though, he's like a duck. The water will just flow off his back, and he'll be just fine.
All right, and Canada looks like they'll be just fine in this one, whether it's 3-1 or 4-1. It looks to be 4-1 right now. Here's one more look again, and we're still searching for an explanation. It looked like the clock had gotten to 0.0, but for now, Canada up 4-1, second period. 4-1.
Character, integrity, respect. If we bring good sportsmanship on and off the ice, we can help end bullying.
Looking for behind-the-scenes access to Team Canada and the 2021 IIHF World Junior Championship, up-to-date information on the return to hockey across the country, and great stories from the Hockey Canada community, visit hockeycanada.ca. Time now for the World Juniors High Performance, fueled by Gatorade.
Great pass ahead. Bardakov moves in, scores! Zahar Bardakov restores the Russian lead. Canuck, the shot deflected. Oh, what a save! Kotze flashes the leather. An unbelievable stop to keep this 1-0. So we're just kind of getting over that. Shot score!
The ability to take the pass and then to quickly be able to maneuver it back into a position where he can work with the net that's there. I mean, that's a perfect example of his reach, of his hands.
This tournament is always a showcase for first-round draft picks, but we've never seen anything like this year's version of Team Canada. 19 first-rounders, including every single forward on the team. Gatorade, rehydrate, replenish, refuel. Let's hear from Canada's first goal scorer, Caden Gooley, with Ryan Rashad.
Caden, your team found some offense in that opening period. How do you think overall you guys played in the first 20?
Yeah, I mean, I thought we did pretty good. I mean, obviously, penalty kill, I mean, we were just kind of making sure they weren't going to score. So, no, I think overall it was a decent period. Just got to keep it going.
How about for you? Your first shift, basically, break down the wing and score. We'll let you take a look at the goal here. Maybe just take us through and talk about your need to be aggressive at times and jump in.
Yeah, I mean, first shift, pretty excited to get out there. And nice pass by Quinner and found a way, snuck it in there. So, yeah, it felt good to get that one underway.
Your family's about 15 minutes away in Sherwood Park. A little different to be locked away in a bubble so close to home?
Yeah, no, it's a little bit different. I mean, I'm happy they're all watching, and I mean, close to home it's good to have this kind of experience, and they're close even though they're not here. So it's good that I know they're watching.
Thanks, kid.
Thank you.
A 4-1 lead for Team Canada after one period of play. We'll let the Arkells
Back here in Edmonton after an action-packed first period, Caden Gooley gave Canada the 1-0 lead. Then Dawson Mercer shorthanded, made it 2-0. J.J. Peterka scores in the power play to get the Germans back within one. Phil Tomasino makes it a 3-1 game. And then the goal that we're still talking about, the goal by Peyton Krebs. The official time is 19:59. We'll have more on that in a moment. Canada outshoots Germany 10-5. Gord Miller back here with Ray Ferraro, and Canada gets some penalty killing work in that first period.
You know, they lose Braden Schneider with a 5-minute hit to the head and game misconduct penalty, and for a big chunk of that period, they killed that penalty off. I thought they did a really nice job. They used lots of players. They tried to keep a pretty high pace to their penalty kill. You see the chase down the ice that leads to the Dawson Mercer goal. But look how aggressive they are out on the point. There's nowhere to go for the puck for Germany, and as they try to get it set up, Canada attacks and then re-attacks again. Both defensemen come close into the left corner to push the puck down the ice, and really a nice job, I thought, for Canada. From that point on, they started to control the play again and spend more time in the German zone.
Got a new German goaltender, 19-year-old Jonas Gehr comes on. Plays for Krefeld Juniors in the German Junior League. His first international tournament for Germany. So here's the explanation, the latest we have on the Peyton Krebs goal, that the IHF feed showed 0.2 seconds left on the clock. We think that their feed might be 0.2 of a second delayed. This happened in an LA Kings Columbus game in 2012 where Drew Doughty scored a goal. It appeared the time should have expired, but the clock appeared to show a little bit of time left when it shouldn't have. It happens occasionally that the TV feed and the clock feed are different, but we believe this is the inverse, that our feed is the direct feed from the clock, that there was no time left, but the IHF feed may be 0.2 of a second delayed. We're looking into it, but that's the latest we're hearing.
And no way to fix it now.
Once the call is made, it's made. Peterka comes across the line, the play is called offside.
Gord, we were talking about that LA Kings game. That led to one of the great explanations of all time from then GM Dean Lombardi.
Yes, what was the word he used?
Columns.
Columns, because the clocks use some kind of...
Oh, and at the end he said they're very complex devices.
It's not electronic timing. It was, I think he referred to like nuclear timing.
Oh, it was something else.
But this is something they might want to get cleaned up. But this does happen in the NHL occasionally, where the feed that we get on TV is different than what they see in the NHL video room.
And the problem with it, of course, is it's very confusing, as we just saw, for everybody watching.
Now Dubé walks in, trying to feed that back in front. That was broken up. What a good play by Gooley. Back comes Alex Newhook with it. Up for Cousins. That's batted down by Ganip at the German line. Holloway moves in. The pass for Cousins is too far. Newhook back with it. And Blitzel feeds out across. Ganip leads the rush now for Germany. Ganip with a shot that was blocked in front. There's Korzak got in the way. And Thomas Harley races to it. Schumacher got there first. Here's Cousins. Cousins bats down the bouncing puck and chips that across. In comes Holloway, and he ran over Enriquez Morales. By the way, the goaltender for Germany, Gehr, is listed at 6'3". He looks a lot taller than that. Krobot moves in. And here's Krebs digging it up for Canada. Peyton Krebs, lead pass from McMichael, didn't quite get through. That was knocked down by Rabe. Centering pass by McMichael goes back. Byron moves in and shoots, but that high and wide. Both these teams have been through their quarantines. Canada in their selection camp. The Germans, just prior to the tournament, having to stay in their room. So basically, you're trained for a bicycle race, not a hockey tournament.
Well, what a tough time for those kids to. For all of them, really, the ones that have gone through the extra quarantines on top of the ones they thought they were going to get. Of course, Canada did it too.
In comes Mercer now. Dawson Mercer moves in and shoots. That's kicked out. Now Drysdale a chance, hit a leg in front. Might have hit Stutzla. And now Mercer shoots, scores! Mercer gets his second, and Canada leads 5-1.
The New Jersey first-rounder Dawson Mercer's got a pair. A really interesting player in that every time the lines get set up, he seems to be on the outside of them. Yet the coaches talk of him with great affinity. Andre Tourné says he's the guy that's going to fix a lot of problems for us. We can play him at center or on both wings. Really good puck retrieval by Phil Tomasino, and Tomasino finds Mercer, who's come from the front of the net out, posting up about 25 feet in front of the net, and his shot eludes the blocker side of Jonas Gar, and it's 5-1 Canada.
Mercer played for Chicoutimi this year in the Quebec. They just 5 games scored 4 goals. With 24 last year between Victoriaville and Chicoutimi. Now Peltier moves in, drops back for the trail that just missed clean. Dubé up ahead for Volek. And Dubé plays it in. Dubé's dad was a tremendous junior scorer. He wound up having a long and good career in Europe, including Germany, where Samuel was born.
His second of the game, scored by number 20, Dawson Mercer. Assisted by number 26.
Here's Barron back with it. He's back across to Korzak. To Barron. Dubé's dad, we mentioned, played the 94 World Junior. We're getting perilously close to me covering players that covered their dad's games in this tournament. Bob McKenzie already crossed that bridge.
You start seeing guys, you know, Nick Malik played goal for the Czechs today, and of course his father Marek played in the NHL for a pile. But you guys that were around 20 years ago, you're starting to get a little close now.
Elias with a chance, and Levi makes the stop.
Levi's made a couple of good stops earlier on Tim Stützle early in the first period, a terrific left toe save, and here on Elias. He's going to have this puck bounce up on him, but because he's in good position, the puck stays with him. Watch Dawson Mercer here, number 20. You score by knowing where to go. He's standing on the goal line. That's not going to do. He's going to come up into the slot here, 15 or 18 feet away to take the pass from Tomasino. It's a good work by Tomasino to retrieve the puck, but Mercer has to come from the goal line out into the slot, or that play doesn't happen.
Now Stützle with the steal. Stützle shoots. He's fanning that shot. Gets it right back. Stützle. A wide base, feeds across now. Zimmerman flipped that wide. Peterka. Back at the point. Stützle reaches out and holds it. Stützle. Tied up in the corner by Harley. Stays on it.
Good to fix it out.
Now racing to it is Krebs. Brings it around the long side. Stützle can't hold it. Back goes Munzenberger, icing Wade Dombas. He gets bumped there. And a chance for Krebs in front, flipped it wide. Perfetti forced that turnover. And Drysdale flips it back in the corner. Dubé looks ahead to Peterka. That pass went through the feet of Drysdale and back down to the Canadian zone. Icing called against Germany.
For 4 years, teams have done amazing things to raise the Chevrolet Good Deeds Cup. But this year, ideas triumph. What would you do with $100,000 for your community?
There's the Bear, Andre Tourné, a very popular coach, an assistant last year with Dale Hunter. Yet he's got a real good way with the players to be firm enough to make sure they get the message, but also to make them feel really comfortable. A couple of times in practice yesterday, he wasn't so happy with the way things were going. He stopped practice, brought the players in, and wanted to kick it up a notch. He talks constantly about urgency.
He's been an assistant coach 4 times for Canada through some of the craziest tournaments we've seen. He was on the bench in 2010 when Jordan Everly tied the game late against the U.S. in the gold medal game and then lost on the overtime goal to John Carlson. Now moving back in, great chance there for Suzuki, turned away by Gare. He was also there on the bench in 2011, the third period collapse against the Russians in the gold medal game, and of course last year was assistant coach in what might be the most upside-down gold medal game we've seen in a long time, Canada's win over the Russians, which had a little bit of everything. Now loose puck in front, they score! Here's Suzuki, as the turnover was forced by Mercer, and it's 6-1 Canada.
think Germany's goaltender should leave the puck playing to somebody else. Arno Tiffinsey fumbled one and Dawson Mercer scored. Now Ryan Suzuki's the beneficiary of a Jonas Gar turnover behind the net. And now it's 6-1. This puck will go back behind the net. Gar doesn't have enough time to play it, so he just shovels it backhand, and he hands it right to Dawson Mercer. Mercer says thank you. There's Suzuki, and he's got the open net.
So Mercer's had a pretty productive afternoon so far for Canada.
A couple of goals and assist.
The groups for this tournament are drawn up based on finish from the year before, so it's not like the home team has a decision who goes in what group. Canada's got this one based on how the teams finished last year. And they'll wrap up the round robin on New Year's Eve against the Finns. Rabe with it. The tournament open to players born in 2001 or later. Bouncing puck at center ice, knocked down by Barron. Preston Barron, who shrugged off that check from Krobot and fires it back down to the German zone. Holloway got straightened up. And now Henriquez Morales got poke checked at center ice, brought in by Newhook. In comes Alex Newhook. Minzenberger with a backhand shot, scores! Alex Newhook joins Mercer as goal scorers from Newfoundland, and it's 7-1 Canada.
Watch the footwork twice by Alex Newhook. Newhook, who plays at Boston College for the Hall of Famer Jerry York, is going to steal the puck in the middle of the ice here. Watch here, he's going to do a half pivot here. That freezes the defenseman. Now he drives around the defenseman and between the goaltender. The pivot slows down Munzenberger. He goes around him and tucks it in the back of the net. When we were talking to Jerry York, he said he's a really vibrant guy, Newhook is. And he made mention of his hair. He said, that's not Boston College hair. You have a little bit shorter hair in Boston College.
Jerry York has very strict rules about hair. Now, of course, you know, a lot of barber shops are closed now, so that's Newhook's excuse. But if Jerry had to do it himself, when Newhook goes back to college, his hair will be collar length.
What a terrific journey Alex Newhook has been on. Across the country, back and forth.
Holloway centers it. Cousins with a chance. That's stopped by Gare.
To being a first rounder by the Colorado Avalanche, and now he's on the board in his first World Junior Championship game.
7-1, Canada leads here in the second.
Doc in Chicago, keeping a close eye on his teammates, posted this on Instagram a short time ago, and Team Canada made it clear, though they will rotate the C between Bowen Byram and Dylan Cousins, that's because they have to have a captain dressed each game. They say Kirby Doc remains the captain of this team. His sweater will remain hanging in his stall in their locker room. He took some time and FaceTimed with Cousins and Byram yesterday, text members of the group today. Dylan Cousins telling me we were lucky to have him for the time we did. The guy played in the NHL last year.
Here is Byram feeding it across to Krebs, to Drysdale. Peyton Krebs walks in. Now a chance, a backhand shot, and Michael goes wide. Loose along the boards, bounces back down to the Canadian line. Byram back to pick it up. Bowen Byram from Cranbrook, BC.
Dad Sean was an NHL pick with the New York Islanders.
McMichael works in, drops it back. In comes Krebs. What's in the water in Cranbrook that makes the players from there skate so well?
Those Niedermeyer fellas were pretty slick around the ice, weren't they?
Now there's a second generation playing in Penticton. Scott's boys are there. Peterka works in, goes off the skate of Byram. Just effortless. And for Krebs, the play's offside at the German line. Well, you talked about Alex Newhook, Ray. He's a terrific player, he might not be the best player in his family. His sister Abby is going to Boston College next year in a scholarship. She's an outstanding player as well. But you talked about his journey. The Newhook family goes to Cape Cod every summer on vacation. Jerry York, the coach at Boston College, has a neighbor who has a place in Cape Cod, and the neighbors came back and said, there's this kid from Newfoundland who loves hockey, he's pretty good. Made the introduction, and the recruiting process began.
And it was not a straight line from Newfoundland to Boston College.
No.
Went to Ontario, went to British Columbia, back across the country, now to Boston College. He's a terrific prospect. Really love the way he plays. How many prospects does Colorado have just on the cusp of the NHL?
They could put together a second team right now that might be pretty good. The defense is incredible. Move at the line by Alberg.
And that defense includes Makar and Samuel Girard, who are not exactly gray beards.
Volek drops it back to Alberg with a sharp angle shot that was high off the glass. Mercer up ahead for Suzuki. Now Suzuki feeds across, takes a return pass and shoots, and Gare knocks that away. The rebound bounces wide. Long lead feed for Stützle, missed. Icing the call.
Closed captioning of the 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship is brought to you in part by Yamaha. Revs your heart.
Back here in Edmonton, it's been unseasonably mild this holiday season. Your first World Junior was the 2012 event. It was
not mild. That was cold. I'm going to say that rivaled Ufa. When we were in Ufa, Russia, there was a bite there.
Yes.
That took weeks to go away.
Although, the incredible part was, as cold as it was one day, a kid in a bicycle passed us one day. Zary moves in, holds, and feeds back in front. That's flipped wide by Tomasino.
And remember in Ufa, that American team was so good. What a group of players.
That was John Gibson in goal, Seth Jones, Shane Gostisbehere, Jacob Trouba on defense, Johnny Gaudreau up front. They lost 2 games, though. Remember that? They got to a slow start. They lost twice.
And once they got rolling, it was over.
Blitzel. Up ahead to Kniep. And ranging back there is Quinn. Took a hard bump in the corner. Across he goes to Byfield. Quentin Byfield trying to find Quinn. It's poked back to center ice, and Quinn has it. Jack Quinn, first round pick of the Buffalo Sabres, 8th overall in 2020. Scored 52 goals in 62 games last year for Andre Tourigny in Ottawa. And there's Drysdale a chance, and the stop is made by Gare. 9:25 to go in the second period. You're watching the 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship from Edmonton. Glad to have representatives of past Chevrolet Good Deeds Cup champions cheering on Team Canada this year. Want to hear your Good Deeds pitch? Visit ChevroletGoodDeeds.com or .ca rather for more details. And our fingers crossed that next year this building will be packed to the rafters with fans.
Not just for us, for these kids too. I mean,
you know,
they get to play in an NHL building. For a lot of them, they won't get a chance to do that again. And the electricity of the building when it's full, and they just miss it all.
Holloway drops it back. Cousins able to make the stop. I think back to the 09 tournament in Ottawa, and Danny Kerman, who's now a supervisor for the IHF, was the game referee in that one. And before he came on the ice, the crowd in Ottawa all on their feet, the building literally shaking before the players came on the ice. And Danny looked around, and he's worked the Olympics, you name it. And to this day, he says that night in Ottawa, right before the game, was one of the great moments of his hockey life. Byron feeds it across. Korzak a long shot. That's knocked away by Gare. Now, Cousins feeds it back in front. Rebound, score. It's Newhook again. And it's 8-1. now the Canadians will go right back to center ice. They will not do the flyby at the bench out of respect for their opponent.
The hunt to the puck by Cousins makes this play happen. He loses it once, gets it back twice, and then finds Newhook in front of the net. And those guys from Newfoundland are on fire this period.
We talked about it. You know, this is the 30th anniversary of the Slaney goal. The year before that, in 1990 in Helsinki, the gold medal winning goal was scored by Dwayne Norris, also from Newfoundland. His son, Josh Norris, played for Team USA in the tournament.
2 for Newhook, 1 for Mercer this period. Ryan Suzuki has one in there as well, and it's a long couple of days for 14 German skaters and 2 goaltenders.
But Tobias Abstreiter made the point. Don't worry about the score. These are almost, if you want to call it that, these are tune-up games for the Germans. Right? They haven't had a chance to practice or play, so they get their legs under them. The games that matter for them are the next 2. Slovakia and Switzerland. Most of the Switzerland game.
Just think of the challenge, Gord, for that Slovakia game is the guys getting out of quarantine. They haven't been on the ice in forever.
Right.
And they're going to try to get them a little bit of legs underneath them, get some rest for these guys.
Slovakia beat the Swiss in their opener, so the Swiss right now are the low-hanging fruit in this group. Bouncing puck on the side of the goal, tipped wide by Krebs. That can change, of course. Remember last year, Germany wound up on the relegation side against Kazakhstan, beat them 4-0 in the first game. You thought, oh, that's fine, best of 3. They lost the second game 4-1. So a single game to stay in it, and they beat Kazakhstan 4-0. They made that relegation a little more interesting than it should have been. Fired down the ice by Canada, and icing is the call. 7:56 to go.
Here's the second goal for Newhook. Cousins has already got the puck back and lost it once. Now he picks it up a second time. Just a relentless worker is Dylan Cousins, and there's Newhook going to the front of the net, stronger on the puck than the defenseman, and able to slide it along the ice into the net.
Cousins is both a winger and a center. And we were talking with Dale Hunter yesterday, the coach of Team Canada last year, who coaches London, and Connor McMichael's out there now is one of his star players, and he encourages his guys to play all 3 forward positions. I'm wondering what you would think of that.
Well, the reason being is that if you're going to advance to the next level and they say, hey, we're full at center, we'd like to try you on the wing, you can say, yeah, I can do that. I've done that before. It's really a good idea that Dale pushes to his players. And for example, when Dylan Cousins gets to Buffalo, he's not competing for 4 center spots. He's competing for 8 forward spots, 4 right wing, 4 center. You give yourself an opportunity. McMichael's going to be the same thing in Washington. Me, I played center. That was it. And I wasn't going to check, so really I was fighting for 1 or 2 spots. It was getting pretty narrow there, Gord.
Tomasino shoots, tip score. And that might have been Mercer in front. We'll see who got the stick on that at the end. And it's 9-1.
And Tomasino's taken advantage of his opportunity. He was the 14th forward in the pre-tournament game, wasn't in the lineup. 100 points in 62 games last year. Canada wins the puck battles against the exhausted German defense, and Tomasino's shot, I think it goes straight through here. Justin Barron goes down the boards, and Tomasino shoots this flutter ball that Gare can't catch. Yep, this goes straight in. Wow. A little bit of a sinker that dips above the glove and into the net.
So Tomasino's got 2. When you think about the number of times, Ray, that the 13th forward for Canada winds up playing a major role. In the 95 tournament in Red Deer, it was Ryan Smith. He wound up moving up the lineup. In 05, it was Corey Perry who barely made the team. Wanted to play on the top line with Sidney Crosby and Patrice Bergeron. Last year, Akil Thomas was basically that guy. He'd hardly played the gold medal game and came on and scored a huge goal to win it.
It's an interesting tournament. It goes fast, and your spot is going to show up sometimes when you're not ready for it. So you better be ready.
In Buffalo in 2018, Thomas Steenbergen.
Yeah, Tyler Steenbergen. It was his only goal of the tournament. And it was in the gold medal game, and it was the game-winning goal.
I think he played about 5 minutes in that game total. So in single elimination hockey, where one goal can be the difference between winning it all and being knocked out, you never know who the hero might be. Byram back with it. This tournament was a straight round robin until 1996, when the medal round format was instituted. So we've had 25 years of gold medal games at the World Junior. The old format was interesting because every game mattered. One loss could knock you out. Like you mentioned, the U.S. lost 2 games in 2013. You would not win the gold medal losing 2 games in the round robin format.
Yeah, but you lose the gold medal game.
So a lot of times Canada clinched, or a team would clinch in their dressing room on an off day. Robot with it. Can equal the shot that was blocked by Drysdale in front. And Drysdale pokes it around to Byram. Still to come tonight. We'll be here for USA-Austria. The Americans will try to bounce back from their loss to Russia last night.
We all remember the terrible tragedy of the Humboldt Broncos. In September of 2018, we went back to broadcast their first game. It was one of the most remarkable evenings to remember those players that were gone, to honor those that were still playing, and seeing the way that the town rallied around that whole terrible tragedy. We think about the families, the first responders, and we have this blanket in the stands honoring those who passed. It was just a terrible moment, buoyed by remarkable support of the Humboldt community.
Always with us. As Michael, a shot that got blocked by Munzenberger. Cousins back on it behind the goal, feeds it back. McMichael across to Perfetti, in shoots, he whipped that wide. Byram to McMichael. Back to Cole Perfetti. Drops it back to McMichael. And on the power play, here's Perfetti, shoots an elbowing penalty to Germany's Gianluca Schumacher. Cousins around to McMichael. Harley feeds it across. Perfetti, a hard shot, and save made by Gare. And they'll move back to center ice. Perfetti. Feeds it ahead. Peterka knocks it back to center ice. Perfetti lost the puck to Peterka, moves in short-handed. JJ Peterka, a long shot, and Levi drops it down for Quinn. Alberg on the forward check, spins Thomas Harley around. And now Byfield turns it over at center ice, poked at by Quinn. Harley, the first-round pick of the Dallas Stars, drops it back to Quinn. Feeds back to Suzuki, who rings it around. And Glutzel gets tangled up there with Newhook. Fed across to Suzuki. And now Volek moves it back out. 2 shots for Canada. That power play, just over 3 to go here in the second period. Tomasino drops it back to Zary. Connor Zary got spun around. Feeds it back to Drysdale. Drysdale, a long shot kicked up by Gare. Chance for Mercer, he flipped that wide. Shots are 25-9 in favor of Canada. And Gooley back to pick it up. Zary slides that back down. Gooley up ahead for Tomasino. And Tomasino back down in the German zone. Icing called against Canada.
Today's captain is Bowen Byram. And he gets taken into the boards by Stützle. And rolls all the way over. There go the sticks.
Dominoes.
Watch the sticks. Down they go. Byram's going to get back up. Change. It's one way to get from one end of the bench to the other.
And the equipment guys make sure the sticks are all in numerical order, just the way the guys like them. Long shot, pinballs off the leg. And that hit Dooley, and Dooley's shaken up. Chipped ahead by Drysdale, and Stutzla back to pick it up. Dooley remains out there for Canada, shakes off that shot block, and now ranges back. Stutzla quickly on it. That shot was blocked as Cousins brings it back.
Oh, look out.
Turns Zimmerman. Cousins works in. Backhand shot, scores. And Dylan Cousins gets one for Canada.
You could see that coming from the moment Cousins picked up the puck. He's such a powerful skater. This is why I like him on the wing as opposed to in the middle of the ice. He can use his speed wide. The defenseman, Zimmerman's not able to stay and turn with him, and Cousins just blows by him down the right wing. He's going to have not even to dip his shoulder in. He's so fast to get around him, and the move to the backhand freezes the goaltender, and it's an easy flip into the net for Buffalo's first rounder from 2019.
Broke his thumb in Buffalo's camp in his rookie or his first year after the draft. That actually might have helped him. He spent the next couple of months working on leg strength, and during the time off this summer, he's back in Yukon, running in the sand, doing a lot of leg work to work on his strength.
And Buffalo must be pretty happy looking at this game tonight. You've got J.J. Peterka for Germany and Cousins here, and got to be very happy with what they see from these two players.
There, a shot that goes wide. There's a Canadian who's played a lot of international hockey, the World Junior, and also at the Olympics, Jeff Carter, who's a center and winger who plays both well, a good skater, right-hand shot. There's a lot of similarities.
There is the one thing about Jeff Carter is he could be out there in tennis shoes and he'd still score. Like he always finds a way to be able to score.
Krebs to Perfetti, he spins and shoots, and Gare knocks that away. Now Krebs, knocked off stride, a penalty coming out of Germany, a centering pass, that's knocked wide by Byram. Drysdale back with it. And Jimmy Drysdale rings it around, the extra skater comes on, Byram, tied up by Alberg. Hits it back across to Drysdale. The exhausted Germans can't get to the puck. They get a stoppage. Byram with it. Goes up towards the goal. The puck loose there. Perfetti couldn't reach it. Byram feeds it down, and a sharp angle shot. Krebs thought he'd scored. The referee says no. And there's actually a penalty coming. So that'll wipe out the goal. If it was going to score, I think. Well, the calls against Germany.
This was such an odd rebound.
22 Germany, minor penalty hold.
That looked into me. But
so watch Krebs. This is a great feed from Byram.
Yeah, it's in. Right?
Now we're going to look at it here.
Yeah.
Yep. For the second time tonight, we'll get a play reviewed.
I was wrong on the first one, so
I think your streak is over here.
Hold all tickets.
What a great feed from Byram. Gordon, the first period we saw Byram do the same thing. He was on the left point, and almost without looking, he went straight across to the low dot on the far side. Great vision to see the play, and then, of course, the skill to execute it. Watch this pass again. He's not even looking at Krebs. He knows he's there. He's seen him on the way up the ice, and he just puts it on the tape to Krebs, who one-times this into the far portion of the net. Krebs thought it was in initially, then he wasn't sure. Now he thinks it's in.
And don't forget, it was his goal at the end of the first that was also part of the
After
review.
video review, the puck did cross the line. We do have a good goal.
So that will negate the German penalty.
Krebs has got 2 goals with a combined 9.5 seconds left on the clock. Great feed from Bowen Byram.
Harley back across to Korzak, and Canada go to the dressing room with an 11-1 lead on Germany. You're watching the 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship from Edmonton. Our second edition is coming up.
For more than 80 years, Esso has supported Canadian hockey with programs like the Esso Medals of Achievement, Esso Fun Days, and the Esso Cup through our long-standing partnership with Canada's national teams. Esso, proud premier partner of Hockey Canada.
NFL Week 16 continues tomorrow with 3 early afternoon games. Can the Falcons find another horrific way to lose? Can the Steelers get on track? Giants and Ravens also with serious playoff implications. Don't miss any of Sunday's biggest plays with NFL Red Zone, available for free on tsn.ca and the TSN app. James Duffy, Bob McKenzie, and Craig Button back with your second intermission here on TSN. 11-1 Canada, 4-1 Newfoundland, or 6-1 if you count the assists. This really is a great story. It's only the second time this great province has had 2 players on Team Canada. And Bob, you talked before the game about how Dawson Mercer was not going to be your typical 13th forward, that he could actually play up and down the lineup, and he's up and down the score sheet right now.
Well, you're right, James. Maybe a predictably ugly 11-1 lead after 2 periods for Team Canada. So let's go to our happy place. And our happy place for many Canadians would be Newfoundland, and the performance of Dawson Mercer in this game. He got a pair of goals. He got the goal that made it 2-0. He got the goal that made it 5-1. I mean, the first one was an absolute gift, but nevertheless. Then his goal made it 5-1. Then he had a nice assist on Ryan Suzuki's 6-1 goal, and he got a second assist on the 9-1 goal. So we've talked a little bit about Mercer. It's interesting because the Chicoutimi Saguenay's forward, who was a first-round pick of the New Jersey Devils and just recently signed with them, he played on the team last year. And every time we did the boards and we show the extra forward for Team Canada, it's always Dawson Mercer. And it's highly unusual for a returning player to be the 13th forward, but he gets as much or more ice time in that role because he's so versatile. Left wing, sure. Right wing, sure. Center, sure. Top line, sure. Down the depth, sure. And he's obviously a guy that has the experience of what he did last year. He didn't get a single point in last year's tournament. Now he's got 4 in today's game.
Well, Bob, Newfoundland is a happy place, and I never want to leave, so I'm not going to leave there. I'm going to talk about Alex Newhook, the other Newfoundlander. And, you know, what a luxury. He's playing with Dylan Cousins and Dylan Holloway, and Alex is such a well-rounded player. He can score, he can make plays, he's exceptionally smart. And so when you're flanked by those 2 players and you have the brain of Alex Newhook, not only are they going to get their opportunities, but he's going to be able to take advantage. Look at the Colorado Avalanche in the future. You got the superstar Nathan MacKinnon. What a nice spot for Alex Newhook to step in and play behind Nathan MacKinnon. That's a pretty formidable 1-2 punch when you look to the future.
I always like to think of Alex Newhook as a coast-to-coast Newfoundlander because he's obviously a native Newfoundlander, but he came and he played his minor hockey with York Simcoe Express, went to St. Andrews College in Aurora, Jimmy's hometown there, and then went out to Victoria and played in the British Columbia Junior League. So you went into the country right to the other end for Alex Newhook.
I want to be easy on the Germans because they've had a rough time.
That's
and
for sure.
Sympathy is starting to kick in here. But the goaltending they've seen today, I mean, how much of that is Canadian skill, Craig, and how much is just brutal goaltending?
Well, I think it's much more of the latter, James. I mean, yeah, we can look at it and see the skill of Canada bearing down on the German goaltenders, but the German goaltending, both of them in this game have been really, really subpar. You're not asking them to stand on their head and make these great, magnificent saves, but the blunders they have made have been their own doing and a big contributor to why this game is 11-1. And, you know, I don't know what the coach is going to do in between the second and third period, because he might just want to go with 6 skaters here, but he doesn't want to tire them out because they only have 14 on the bench.
It won't have any effect on the outcome, but for those of you still wondering about that Canadian goal at the end of the first period, our clock said there was no time left. What do we know, Bob?
What we know is that TSN uses the exact same system as the National Hockey League, and that is the official game clock is burned into the overhead view of the goal cam over the line. And in our mind, 100% confident that time had expired before the puck went across. The International Ice Hockey Federation, who's here and overseeing the tournament, of course, they've got a little different version of the video and the timing coordination, so they're at odds. All I can tell you is we're as confident as we can be that the TSN clock, which is the exact same system the NHL uses, is accurate, but we'll have to get that sorted out one way or the other. The IIHF will have to get that sorted out for the balance of this tournament.
Can the Germans protest and play the game over? I don't think that would be the case. It won't affect the outcome, but hey, if it was Canada-USA or Canada-Russia in a semifinal game, we would have an issue at that point in time. Canada back at it against Slovakia. They had a terrific first game, backed by a brilliant goaltending performance by Simon Lecazzi. That's your game tomorrow, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We're on for the pregame show. 11-1. Is there a mercy rule or a Mercer rule? Canada in absolute control with 20 minutes left here in Edmonton.
A premier partner of Hockey Canada, Tim Hortons has supported minor hockey for over 35 years through the Timbits Hockey program and its commitment to developing teamwork, confidence, and social skills in an inclusive environment. Timbits Hockey, where the first goal is having fun.
These standings will change in about a half an hour from now when Canada moves into a tie for top spot with Finland and Slovakia, also winners in their first game in Group A. Group B, Sweden, the Czech Republic. This was a weird game because the Czechs looked really good for a period and change, but then it started to switch around here. Sweden on the power play in the second. Albin Sundsvik gets a timely bounce off the boards, and Sweden is out in front. Remember that 52-game group play winning streak. A few minutes later, this is where the game's changed. Emil Heinemann jumps on the loose puck, shorthanded, 3-1 Sweden, and the Czechs were just gone after that. Now 4-1 Sweden. Elmer Soderblom. Now you're just showing off. Beautiful goal between the legs. 53 games the Swedes have won in a row in group play. 7-1 is the final in this one. And so the Group B standing super mega early in this tournament. Sweden and Russia on top, both winning their first games. Remember, you get 3 points if you win a game in regulation, 2 points if you win in OT or a shootout, and a single point if you lose in OT or a shootout. Once again, this tournament, Sportlogic will be helping us out tracking the quality shot locations in that home plate area around the goal where most of the goals are scored. And you can see Canada just absolutely dominating. All those red dots represent where the goals were scored. Canada's most lopsided opening game win at the World Juniors, a 14-0 win over Denmark, December 26, 2018, back in Vancouver. They have a chance to improve on that goal differential with an 11-1 lead and 20 minutes left here in Edmonton at the World Juniors.
Here in Edmonton, Canada ties a tournament record with 7 goals in a period, the 7th time they've done it. Dawson Mercer, Ryan Suzuki, Alex Newhook with a couple, and then following that, Tomasino, Cousins, who has 4 points in the game, and Peyton Krebs gets his second. Canada with an 11-1 lead. We're going to back here with Ray Ferraro, and 20 first-round picks in this Canadian roster. Every forward was picked in the first round, so lots of skill on display.
Skill and speed, and you know, we wonder where it's going to manifest itself. Well, they got some opportunities in this game to get out into the open ice. A turnover in the first period opens it up for Phil Tomasino, who was the 14th forward in the pre-tournament game. He's on the board here, down the wing, 100 points in 62 games last year. A turnover in the neutral zone. Look at the skating by Alex Newhook. He opens up the defenseman, so now he's frozen him and goes around him, then dodges to the net and beats the goaltender. And lastly, Dylan Cousins, you mentioned 4 points. A turnover at the blue line, and he just blows around the German defense. Cousins a goal and 3 assists. Canada pretty well doing anything that they need to do, and they'll make a goaltending change for the third period.
Dylan Grant comes in, the 18-year-old from Victoria, BC. Plays for the Kamloops Blazers, had a .921 save percentage last year and was the Western Hockey League Scholastic Player of the Year. So Devin Levi takes a seat, and Garand, who was a Rangers 4th-round pick, gets some action.
These guys are going to hurt the image of the goaltenders. Devin Levi, a really analytical mind.
Computer science major, I think.
Computer science, and Dylan Garand, 95 or 6 average, and Scholastic Player of the Year.
Just like Ron Hextall when you played with him. Real cerebral.
Oh, we weren't going to college, I'll tell you that.
Early penalty coming into Germany as Florian Elias was a
penalty number 7.
He didn't have time to go to college.
Well, he had lots of time to read.
Canada back to the power play. There's the trip, the stick of Florian Ellis. Gets into Dawson Mercer's feet. And
by the way, the Canadian record for goals in a game of the World Junior is 18. Been done twice. Played across to McMichael, feeds it back in front, and Cousins scores. There's a 5-point game for Dylan Cousins and a power play goal.
It's a really great play by McMichael across the seam to find Cousins standing on the doorstep. It'll be interesting now, Gord, here. I mean, we're, clearly the game is long, out of reach, and part of the issue is that Canada just hasn't had any game action, so this first power play unit is on the ice in an 11-1 game. It normally wouldn't be.
Right.
And so you wonder if there's more power plays if Canada just rolls the next group out here. It's really nice puck work, though. It goes side to side, and McMichael will find Dylan Cousins for his second of the night.
And remember, Ray, only 5 Canadian players have played games this year.
Reps are going to be needed. I mean, they shouldn't have much trouble with their first 3 games, and so you would think they would be able to spread the lineup, the minutes out a little bit to get everybody involved.
And as we said, we won't see the real German team until they get their players back in those last couple of games against Slovakia and Switzerland. Brought out now by Goulet. Hayden Goulet flips that back down to the German corner. Zarian to pick it up, he got bumped off the puck. Holloway trying to center it. And Korzak steps up. Korzak back to pick it up. That down, icing waved off as Quinn goes after it. Still to come tonight, the United States and Austria. The U.S. trying to get back on track. After a tough opener against Russia. Harley swings back, icing called against the Germans.
Operation Puck Drop was created to bring hockey back to communities, families, and neighborhoods that have felt the impacts of the pandemic. To see more of the stories, visit operationpuckdrop.ca.
Back here in Edmonton. Looking good in here. Pretty good atmosphere for the little bit of the bubble from the NHL carrying over. It's been an odd year for all of that, and our hope is that for everyone, in all walks of life, things get back to...
Well, has there ever been a New Year's Eve coming up where everybody is looking for something better? Just can only hope that 2021 is a heck of a lot better than this.
Kniep plays that back in. Mercer to pick it up. Leaf goes back now. And here is Munzenberger, plays for Cologne in the DEL and for their junior program. Moved in by Dupré, but McMichael took him off the puck. Krebs has it back now. In comes Krebs. And McMichael drops it back. Gooley digs for it. And it's shoveled by him by Alberg. .16:04 to go. We have a great crew that comes to this tournament every year, but we're missing one. Our partner Eric Butkus, who does replays for us, stayed home because Nash Richmond McBean arrived yesterday. He and his partner Carly welcome a baby boy, and we send our congratulations to them from all of us here.
Awesome.
We have a group that has stuck together for a long time. Out of 20+ years in this group. You're 10 now?
A lot of Christmases together where it's just been the group.
Newhook. Being watched there by Kobot. And Henriquez Morales comes in. Newhook with Cousins and Holloway. Cousins winds in, shoots from a sharp angle, and scores! Cousins strikes again, and it's 13-1.
Dylan Cousins had 9 points last year in the tournament, 2 goals and 7 assists. I'm going to give that a run tonight. Harley with a nice play at the blue line, and Newhook and Cousins turn this around quickly. It's a goal that's on the short side angle, and Cousins squeaks it through, and he's got another goal and another point. 3 goals for Dylan Cousins.
Flip back down in the German zone. Blitzel goes back as Quinn steps into him. Quinn puts it back around to Byfield. Byram. Long shot to the leg in front. Rebound score. Pelche. And that's 14.
That Germany had left in the tank is gone now. The tank's empty here. Strong work by Pelche and Byfield to keep the puck alive, and Pelche will take the shot that's deflected in front of the net as Glutzel tries to block it. He ends up handing it right to Pelche, who's got most of the net to beat the goaltender Gare, and it's 14-1.
And suddenly that 18-goal mark is not out of the question. Sharp angle. Barron's shot is blocked. And Volek spins it back. Gooley. Brings back across the line. Gooley scored in the first period. Plays it around. And Rave had it stripped away. Munzenberger goes back. Now Rave had the wall sealed by Suzuki, but flips it over him and back to center. Tomasino. Leaves it there for Harley. Up to center ice is Suzuki. And Suzuki with Korzak jumping in. Moves back in. Drops it back, Horzak. That goes off his stick, up and out of play. 13:53 to go here in the third period. Dylan Cousins has 6 points in the game, including a hat trick, as Canada leads 14-1. Earlier today, Sweden took on the Czech Republic, and our Dennis Bayak was on the call. His broadcasting career began 50 years ago in Flin Flon, Manitoba. He's had a lot of different jobs since then. Was a Western Hockey League executive for a while, and is currently the voice of the Winnipeg Jets on TV, beloved there. So congratulations, Dennis, on 50 years.
An amazing career.
He flies charters now, but there were a lot of bus rides. Dennis Bayak. In comes Harley with a chance. Shoot, scores. Thomas Harley is on the board. It's 15-1, and Canada's 3 away from its tournament record.
Poor Jonas Gare is just, he's like that relief pitcher in baseball that
you won't take out.
No, you're not coming out. You just got to finish this. As Harley beats him from inside the tops of the circle, off the post and in. Gare came in at the start of the second period.
And there's pride there, right?
Oh, you bet it is. I mean, who wants to lose like this? Who wants to lose when you don't have your best to give? I mean, you only got what you've got. And they're totally gassed from yesterday. They're shorthanded to start with, and they want this clock to roll fast.
Dylan Cousins back out there for Canada. He's got 6 points in the game. That's one off the Canadian single-game record, shared by Dave Andrechuk, Mike Camilleri, and Gabriel Bourque. He's also got a hat trick. The Canadian record for goals in a game is 4, which has been done multiple times. And here comes Cousins with it. Drops it back to Drysdale. Drysdale shoots. That's kicked out by Garland. Still loose in front. And Byram fanned on it. Picked off by Volek. In comes Volek with Allburn. Volek in, shoots, and the save is made by Dylan Garand.
Might be the first shot that Garand has faced here since he came in at the start of the third period.
And I think it broke his mask.
Oh, perfect, right? Volek's shot ends up catching about midway up the net, where Garand headed down into the butterfly to make the save.
You weren't famous for being a passer in your day, but whenever I see a Volek, I always think about your pass to David Volek in the 93 playoffs. Got a penalty come up, a holding call. Will go against Canada's Caden Gooley.
That one worked out okay.
Yeah, that was good. Game 7 winner.
21 Canada, minor penalty holding.
There's the hold on Gooley as he wraps up Crobot in the corner.
Face off won by Holloway. Drysdale with it. Shots are 33-11. Canada plays the Slovaks tomorrow. Germany gets tomorrow off and plays the Slovaks on Monday. Duran plays that away. And now Pelche along with Holloway. Elias lost the puck to Holloway. Canada has a short-handed goal in the game, scored by Dawson Mercer. In comes Stützle. Back around, Peterka with it. J.J. Peterka, who has the German goal, takes the pass from Ganit, and the shot goes wide. Now Stutzla. He's taken down, and Canada's got a 2-on-1 short-handed. It's McMichael with Krebs. McMichael shoots, scores! Short-handed goal, 16-1.
Canada's had 5 shots in this period. They've got 5 goals. Connor McMichael short-handed, the second short-handed goal, excuse me, as McMichael gets the puck in the defensive zone and goes straight down the ice and beats the goaltender. Over the glove. And it's 16-1.
So again, Canada with an 18-2 win over West Germany in the '86 tournament, and the next year in Piastani, an 18-3 win over Poland. '85 was in Helsinki. That was Wendell Clark's year. He was a forward and a defenseman. Played both positions in a game against the Czech Republic. In fact, he scored the goal that gave Canada the gold medal on Dominik Hasek.
Who was the last player cut that?
Gary Roberts.
That's
and we did a dinner
interview, right?
Years later, we did a dinner, and Roberts said, "Wait a minute, you were a defenseman, so I got cut for a guy who didn't even play that position."
That's outstanding.
And the next year, of course, was Piastani, and that 18-3 win was followed a few days later by the infamous punch-up in Piastani. Canada and the Soviet Union were disqualified. I got to go to that rink last summer. Check it out.
Were the lights on?
They were at the moment, yeah. 2 things that didn't work that year: turning the lights on and off to try to get the ball to stop it, and bringing dogs on the ice. Also, the dogs don't like the ice.
I was in the American League in Binghamton. We had a pregame brawl, and they brought a police dog on the ice. This poor dog was just licking the ice. I was like, what was he going to do?
The greatest line during a brawl was by our Bob McKenzie. We were showing the National Lacrosse Championship, and a big fight broke out, and Bob said, "You might wonder why the police haven't been called. Number 16, number 20, and number 22 are all policemen." In comes Holloway along with Newhook. Holloway spinning back. Schumacher along the boards. Tomasino knocks it down. Goulet flips it back for Holloway. People wonder now if goal differential matters in this tournament. In theory, it does. It's well down the list of tiebreakers. It almost never comes into play. Suzuki drops it back, and Mercer fires it wide. It's more likely to come into play at the World Championship where there's more games, so the possibility of a 3-way tie becomes more likely. Dooley shoots it at the leg in front. And now Tomasino spins and shoots. He fired that wide. .8:45 to go in the third, and Mercer knocks it down.
Closed captioning of the 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship is proudly delivered to you by DoorDash. Get $0 delivery for your first month. Delicious delivered.
Back here in Edmonton. Day 2 of the 2021 World Junior Championship. Tournament will be back here next year. Then Novosibirsk, Russia, the capital of Siberia. Byram.
I'm assuming that's not going to be balmy.
No, probably not, no. Don't want to get your hopes up, really. You were talking about Ufa, Russia, and the World Junior there. Remember, in Ufa, they had the pizza place, but it was a single pizza oven. So if 3 people went for a pizza,
First guy in got his pizza first.
Right, like 10 minutes later.
Yeah, and then so if you're number 3, man,
it's half
everybody. It was actually, as I remember, good pizza though.
It was, yeah.
Well, if you wait 30 minutes for it, you're going to be hungry by the time it gets there.
And it wasn't 30 minutes or it's free either. It was 30 minutes or it's 30 minutes. Here's Harley. Feeds it back. Zeri to Perfetti with a chance, and Perfetti turned away by Gare. Now McMichael racing to it. You can say all you want about how lopsided this is for Germany. I've been telling you, Notice Gare's going to watch NHL games a few years from now and say, I played against that guy. Perfetti with a chance. Turned away. Harley. McMichael. And Stutzla pulls it out. Good pass to Peterka. And Harley comes back for it. Derek. At the sign of the goal, just pulls his way in, and Gare freezes that. 7:07 to go here in the third period.
Gear up with Skip the Dishes. Well, after a 40-day wait, Canada wanted to burst onto the ice for warm-up tonight, but the Oiler Door seemed to have other ideas. Trying to charge the gates here, but Bowen Byram with the Herculean strength holding it open while Jack Quinn found the button. You know, it's just the second time they've been able to prepare together as a group, and their traditions are developing. Mitch Love, the assistant coach, announces the starting lineups before the game with the players providing a drum beat. Dylan Holloway told me today, guys, that the energy really ramps up in the tunnel before the game. They are coming together and developing their traditions. Skip the Dishes, the official food delivery app of Hockey Canada.
It's all kind of awkward when you get to a new team. Nobody knows who's going out when, where. Everybody, 5 guys want to be the last guy out of the room. You got a traffic jam back there. A couple guys want to go out first. Takes a little bit, and they just haven't had a chance to play. That's a good play by Gooley there.
Drops it back for Barron. Justin Barron from Halifax. Was scouted by Andre Tournier, who was then the head coach of the Halifax Mooseheads of the Quebec League, but Tournier moved on. Barron was drafted by Halifax. Played here for Tournier in 2018 in the Hlinka Gretzky Cup. 11 players in this Canadian roster played on that gold medal winning team in the summer of 2018. That's where our on-ice camera made its debut. Nate, who does that for us. And Gretzky was here, was quite taken with the camera, liked the shots, but he thought the cameraman should wear all white. And so he does. See what Gretzky says at Edmonton? Goes.
It is.
There was a year here where the city had budget cutbacks. They took the water softening out. Tomasino shoots, and Gretzky said, what's wrong with the ice? The water softening went right back in. 16-1 the score here. Gift of the game.
Way back in the first period, a turnover, and Phil Tomasino has all kinds of room down the wall. Tomasino makes it 3-1 just shortly after John Peterka had made it 2-1.
Gatorade, rehydrate, replenish, refuel. Played back to Harley. And Stutzla picks that off. Elias runs into Jack Quinn. They both fall. And it's fired back in by Korzak. Puck rattled off the stanchion behind the German bench, and play is called.
Jacob Pelche was the first-round pick of Calgary in 2019. Connor Zeri, the first-round pick in 2020. When they were in quarantine, every night they would get a phone call from general manager Brad Treliving, and they had Flames trivia.
Oh.
And so Treliving would have a question, the two of them would answer it, and they kept the points. Pelche won by 1.
Really?
Connor Zary answered Jerome McGinley for every question. He's from Kamloops, so he figured Iggy was the answer all the time.
Not a bad idea.
No, he was probably right a lot. But Pelche was the winner by 1 point.
Harley from the sharp angle throws it back in, and Pelche with a chance. That was stopped by Gare.
I got a picture of Brad Treliving as a game show host.
Oh, his dad, Jim Treliving, right? Yeah. Dragons Den. Byfield. Out of the reach of Barron, icing called against Canada. Pelche did something else really nice. Chris Snows, the assistant GM in Calgary, who is with ALS right now, and really a publicized ordeal he's having, but very uplifting in a lot of ways. And he was drafted by Calgary, Pelche was, and Snow was a big part of that. He really pushed for the Flames to take Pelche. And when Chris had a feeding tube inserted not long ago, went back on the ice with his kids, Pelche wanted to FaceTime with him and make sure that he was thinking of him. And we are too.
Chris and Kelsey and the kids, and it's really quite inspiring to see what Chris is doing, and just wish you all the best.
Now Krebs tries to move it ahead. Volek knocks it down. And Barron swings back for it. Dooley to Krebs. Zabe has it broken up by Perfetti. You know, we haven't done, we always do it at 6 goals or more. We haven't done trivia.
Now, if it were the World Championships, I would have been doing play-by-play by now.
Sure enough. Here's Krebs with it. That went so well the last time we tried it.
It really did. Wasn't so sure about your analyst work either, I gotta be honest.
It was a YouTube sensation, I'll leave it at that. You can look it up. So here is the question for you. The only player in the history of the IHF to win a gold medal at the World Championship before winning a gold medal at the World Junior.
I think it was pretty recent.
Ish, yeah, it's 15 years ago. It's a Canadian.
Eric Lindros.
Well, good guess, though. Patrice Bergeron. Won the World Championship in 04. And then, of course, was part of that Canadian super team in 05 during the lockout year. They won gold in Grand Forks. In comes Cousins with a chance, and that's stopped by Gare. Well, still to come tonight, Team USA trying to climb off the mat, and they'll get a chance against Austria in that ultra-tough Group B. In there with Russia, Sweden, the Czechs.
Swedes won 7-1 today against the Czechs, which was a really competitive game for about half of it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the Swedes got rolling and it ended up 7-1. The U.S. coming off that loss last night, 5-3 to Russia. A really good game. The U.S. was trailing 4-1, scored 2 quick ones to make it 4-3.
Tim Stutzla was clipped with a high stick there. Penalty coming to Canada. It'll be Caden Korzak who goes off with 2:12 to go in the third period.
Canada penalty, number 3, minor, high stick.
Only 3 skaters for Canada don't have a point today, as it seems everybody has gotten in on the scoring.
Peterka with a hard shot, and Duran makes the stop on the power play drive from J.J. Peterka. Jochen Hecht had a great long career in Buffalo as a German-born player. He was a terrific player, wasn't he? Jochen Hecht.
Oh, was he ever smart. Went through some injuries that really curtailed the way that he could play, but man, he could do a lot of things. Really, really good player.
Uwe Krupp, of course, a longtime Sabre as well. Peterka walks in and shoots. And Garan makes a stop on that.
Krupp scored the Stanley Cup winning goal for Colorado when they won.
Yeah, 96 went on to coach the German national junior team and their men's national team. Member of the IHF Hall of Fame.
We played in Long Island together for a few years. You know, he used to run sled dogs.
Yeah, dog racing,
and
dog sled racing.
So in Long Island, there's not snow, and so they had the sleds that had the wheels on them.
Come on.
And so I always used to say to him, I'm sure those dogs look back and see this 240-pound monster.
6'7" guy.
Getting on the
Ted
sled.
Ferraro do this instead.
And it's like, I got to pull him again.
Perhaps a smaller man next time. And of course, when you talk about great German players now, you talk Draisaitl, the reigning MVP in the NHL. But lots coming in Germany, and youth registration is way up. We talked about the results at the under 18s, the World Junior.
I think it's important. This is not representative of what this German team is.
Right.
I mean, the score is the score. They're missing a half a dozen guys that would be in the lineup. Plus, they're missing players that couldn't be here.
Lucas Reichel.
First-round pick by Chicago.
Moritz Seider.
First-round pick by Detroit.
Thomas Encic.
Their starting goaltender.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even the same team, and I feel terrible for these kids because they've played as hard as they can. They're just completely out of gas, and now they've got a day to kind of regroup a little bit, get 6 more guys in the lineup. Just think of that, 6 more guys are going to come in the lineup
and get a day off
before their next game.
Off the crossbar goes Stützle.
I'll tell you one thing. If you're an Ottawa Senators fan and you hadn't seen Stützle play, you should have no worry about what you're getting. This is a fantastic hockey player.
And you talked about his play in the German league last year. He was running the power play.
So you've got all these pros that are, you know, in their late 20s, and this 18-year-old kid is running the power play.
And a chance on the rebound. Elias scores, and the Germans have their second in the power play.
Elias on the doorstep to take the rebound to the Peterka shot. Pushes it by Garand. Elias gets back behind the Canadian defense, and Elias is by himself to push it into the net.
That's goals in back-to-back games for him. Also scored against Finland. Time winds down here in the third period. Harley fires that down. Mercer waiting for it. Harley shot tipped wide by Byfield, and time expires, and Canada wins its opener. 16-2, one of its most lopsided openers in tournament history. And next up, Canada will take on Slovakia tomorrow. Germany will play Slovakia on Monday.
3 goals and 3 assists for Dylan Cousins, a couple goals and 2 assists for Dawson Mercer. Newhook and Krebs and Tomasino with a couple of goals each.
Final shots 44-15 in favor of Canada. And time now for the player of the game presentations, and then the Canadian national anthem.
The best players of each team is presented by Explore Edmonton, the visitor economy and venue management organization for Edmonton. Each winner will be awarded with a custom wallet from local maker Close General Leather Company. Recipients will receive their award after they exit the ice. The best player of Team Germany est le numéro 8, number 8, Tim Stützle. the best player of Team Canada. Et le numéro 22, number 22, Dylan Cousins. Et maintenant pour l'hymne national, for the national anthem of Team Canada.
The 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship from Edmonton, Alberta is brought to you in part by Esso. The Esso brand has fueled Canada's love of hockey for over 80 years. By Nike, official gear of Canada's national hockey teams. By TELUS, helping build stronger communities on and off the ice. When we give back together, we're all connected for good. And by Tim Hortons, the official coffee of Team Canada. The 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship from Edmonton, Alberta is brought to you in part by Chevrolet. Find new reasons to cheer. Find new roads.
Muted celebrations for Team Canada, and that's really all you can do is in a situation like this is don't celebrate much, and they really didn't after about 6 or 7-1 or so. A 16-2 win for Canada over Germany. Back at it against a full lineup in Slovakia. Slovakia with a 1-0 win in their first game over Switzerland. 5:30 Eastern again for the pregame show. The drop of the puck a little after 6 o'clock Eastern time. But we are not done today from Edmonton. One more tonight from the World Juniors. The Americans had that tough loss last night to the Russians. They should bounce back tonight. Heavy favorites against Austria. We're on the air just over half an hour's time with that game. Well, the outcome was really never in doubt. Germany just gassed from yesterday's game against Finland, depleted, and the Canadians just far too much from beginning to end in this one. 16-2, tied for top spot in Group A here at the World Juniors on TSN.